Today, what's top of mind is a strategy I've been implementing a little bit more in my business, and I want to share it with you because I think there is some good upside into doing this, and especially with where the market is right now. And that strategy is called wholetailing, which just means I'm fully purchasing, I'm closing on a home, I'm doing very little work, almost no construction. Maybe, for example, I clean it out and I do a deep cleaning, take professional photos, and then list it on the open market. And I'm going to tell you the reasons why I'm going to continue doing this strategy, at least in the short term, and all of the benefits that I've seen from this strategy, some of which I expected, and then there have been some good unexpected strategies or some good unexpected benefits I've seen from this strategy that I've been able to use in other aspects of my business. And so I'll share all of that with you as well. Who am I? My name is Ryan Rice. I'm a full-time real estate investor. I've been doing this for about 4 years. I'm approaching 100 deals in my real estate career, and I share all of this with you with the hopes it makes you more money in your real estate business. I'm working on a deal right now, and I'm not going to give uber specifics of that deal because it's active. And if something were to happen with it, and in some crazy event someone were to find this podcast, obviously my business would be in a compromised position. So I won't share a lot of the numbers and whatnot, but I'll share the principles behind the specific deal that I'm working. When I was talking to the seller that I bought this house from about a purchase price, and when I ultimately decided on a price that I could pay, it was towards the top of what I would pay if I went ahead and flipped it in the long run. And I would still make decent money if I flipped it. It would probably be 8 to 10 week construction project. I'd have it back on the market. So maybe a 4 to 5 month hold time. And before I bought it, I actually consulted some of my buyers that I regularly work with on what they might pay. And basically they told me they pay about 5 to 10 grand more than what I was paying. And these buyers are buyers I've done a ton of deals with, and they buy at what I would consider like thinner margins of what I'm able to buy at, because maybe they have full-time construction crews or whatever the case may be. So I think from a market perspective, they pay good prices for homes because they're able to still make good money, and their margins, they can afford slimmer margins. So when I closed on the house, again, I cleaned it out. I did a deep cleaning, I took pictures, and I put it on the market. When I was deciding what price to put it on the market for, I consulted probably one of my most trusted real estate agents, and he thought it would sell anywhere from $60,000 to $75,000 more than what I paid for it. And when I listed it, I wanted to list it at a strategy that was going to drive a ton of traffic and list it at the low end of the range so that I could, ideally get some competing offers and get a deal that's done quickly and with minimal contingency so there'd be more certainty. So that was kind of my desire and my strategy. And what happened, I listed it on a Thursday, put it under contract on a Monday. So in those 3 to 4 days, I had 15 showings and we had 4 offers. 3 of those offers were were cash offers. A couple of those cash offers had no contingencies. One of the cash offers did have an inspection contingency with an as-is addendum. So essentially they were buying it as is, but they still could inspect the property and back out if they didn't like the inspection. And then there was another buyer who was not cash that offered on the property as well. And long story short, we're in contract on this property for above list price and with very minimal contingencies. And so I'm going to have, probably maybe a 45-day hold time on this property total. And so I could have made 5 to 10 grand at closing when I closed on the house had I just wholesaled it. But I'm going to end up making anywhere from 5 to 6x of that because I'm doing this wholesale strategy. And so I think it's really a strategy worth looking at if you guys are out there and you're trying to figure out which direction or which exit strategy might be best for your business. And part of the reason why this deal, I think, was a great fit for the strategy, number one, it could be lived in currently. Granted, it was outdated. There were certainly some deferred maintenance, but it wasn't a property that wasn't livable, meaning a bank would finance it. And now it wouldn't necessarily go FHA or something like that, but it is a property where someone could live in. And in this specific property I bought from the seller was using it as a rental. So someone was living there. And in this neighborhood, the majority of inventory on the market was a little bit more modernized, and it was selling for prices way above where I was going to intend to list it for. And so I knew I was going to be priced well under what most buyers had available or had access to for this neighborhood. And so I knew it was going to drive a lot of demand for that reason. And so if you have a house and you have those two things, low inventory and it's livable, that could be a great candidate for a wholetail. And that's what this ended up being. So if something happens, when I close, we should close here in 30 days or under, and we have worked through any sort of inspection type contingencies that were very small. There was one thing that they wanted me to take a look at. We already looked at it and it's good. And so let me give you the reasons why I think the strategy is good with the current market timing and why I'm going to continue to use it. And I'll tell you some of the benefits that I've seen from doing it. Number one, you can continue to put your private money lenders' money to work without these really long projects, right? So if I'm wholesaling everything and I have this vast network of private money lenders that I've built in the past, then eventually, if we go too long without putting their money to work, they're going to go find other ways to use their money. And not to say it won't be there when I need it again, but I can continue to put their money to work and they're happy because they're earning consistent returns on their money. And so that has been beneficial. And so if you are doing a majority of wholesaling and you have built a vast network of private money lenders, this could be a great strategy for you because you don't need to hold houses for a long time and you can still put your private money lenders' money to work. Second, you can sell houses at a lower price point, which means you're going to get more buyer exposure. And that's exactly what happened with this house. Had I fully renovated and listed this house, all of the buyers that I got activity on this house, a lot of them, likely most of them would have been priced out, right? It would have been an entirely different demographic of buyers. And right now with interest rates, the way that they are and the level that they're at, in my mind, the lower price the house is, the more people are going to be able to afford that house, and there's just going to be more demand. And so if you're wholetailing, obviously if you're not doing work on the house, you are clearly going to be listing that house at a lower price than if you renovated it, which is just going to expose you to more people because there's going to be more people that can afford it. Obviously, as you get higher and higher in price, you get fewer and fewer in buyers. The third reason is you're going to get exposed to the biggest buyers list there is in the MLS. And so if I were trying to wholesale this property, I have a very, very large list of buyers, and I could have put in some effort to connect with every single one and try and maximize what someone may have paid. But if I'm exposing it to the MLS, it's getting sent out to everyone, not just investors, but also people who want to live in a house. And people who want to live in a house are going to pay more for a house than investors will. But at the same time, if you're listing a outdated house or even a fixer-upper, then you are going to get attention from investors. And that's exactly what happened with this deal. 3 of the cash offers that I got on this house were from buyers that I had not previously engaged with. And they're not buyers that were any sort of well-known names. They're not active in Facebook communities. They're not active in local investor networks. And I know this because I go to them. And I'd never heard of these people before. But they offered on my house, and we built a relationship. And I told one of them what I did and, treated them all very well, right? So for those that didn't win the deal, I made sure to communicate with them in a way that would increase the probability that they would want to do business with me next time. And that's actually exactly what happened, right? And that's the fourth reason. That's a good segue to the fourth reason why this is a good strategy is you're going to build relationships with new cash buyers. And so I had one of these buyers who offered a very good offer on this house. So full cash, I got a proof of funds, waived all their inspection contingencies. So there was essentially no contingencies, very, very strong terms with that offer. We got to talking and I told him what I did. And he's like, yeah, I'm interested in taking a look at anything else you might have. And I did have some stuff in my pipeline. So I sent it over to him. So I was working this other deal at the same time. And we had just put the house in contract a couple days ago. I was in the process of getting my team out to take photos of it. And I got those photos back. And before I started communicating with this new buyer, I sent it back to one of my VIP buyers and got feedback that this VIP buyer would have paid a certain price for this house. And so I was like, okay, well, let me, I built a new relationship with this cash buyer. Let me send it out to this new cash buyer. And so I sent it to him, and he ended up wanting the deal so bad that he offered me 20 grand more than what my VIP buyer offered for the house. It seemed like they were in a position where they just needed their next project. And I've noticed a lot of casual flippers, or a lot of people that might flip a house here and there. That's what they'll do. They'll use their own cash. They'll buy a flip. They'll finish it. When they sell it, they'll use those funds to put into their next flip. And I don't know for sure that that's what was happening here, but I got a really, really good deal from this new buyer that I built a relationship with from this listing. And he paid 20 grand more than one of my VIP buyers might pay. And I think that's number one, a great lesson in disposition and how important that part of your business is. But second, it's a benefit of wholetailing that I didn't really expect, or that I just didn't think about, right? I had previously thought about all of the other reasons I explained to you on why I was doing a wholetail. But one of those reasons of why I was doing a wholetail was not, I will get new cash buyers, but that has happened as a result. And I've already been able to take advantage of building that new cash buyer list and relationship and turn it into a deal that is going to be pretty profitable for us. So that kind of summarizes the benefits that I've seen from wholetailing, why I'm going to continue to do it. I think it can be a great strategy in today's market with higher interest rates. You can sell prices lower than what buyers are used to paying for them for these specific neighborhoods. And you can build really, really good relationships with new cash buyers, which can help you in the broader scheme of your business. So hope that was helpful. Buy homes, clean them out, take good pictures and get them listed. And that can be a good strategy as opposed to trying to, fully renovate a house, go through all the contractor headache and hold a property for, 5 to 6 months. If you can turn it around quick and make a decent amount, then that might be a benefit. And to kind of close out here, had I flipped this house, I might have made maybe another 5 to 10 grand if I flipped it than had I just did what I'm currently doing. And I am totally cool with that, right? So I could have made, 5 to 10 grand wholesaling it. I'm going to make 5 to 6x of that by doing the wholesale strategy. And I could have made another 5 to 10 grand by flipping it just based on my projections. I'm good with the wholesale outcome, right? That's not a bad deal. Hold the deal 45 days longer than I would have had I wholesaled it, and significantly shorter than had I flipped it and made a good chunk of profit. So hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope that was helpful. Put it to use. give it a shot. If you do, let me know how it goes. I'm interested in hearing what you think about the strategy and if you've used it or applied it and how it's gone for you. But appreciate you guys listening, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.